Blues. Okay. We go. So yeah, everybody, give me a minute. Put that in. There we go. Right. So yeah, sorry about the late notice on this live stream, but I didn't know whether I'd be able to do it or not. Whether I'd have the time. But yeah, that's why it's such short notice, and also why it's even later now than it was before is because I've been wrestling with a bloody micro USB cable for the camera. Yeah, but thankfully I found one that does thankfully work. This is why I bloody hate micro USB, and which is why I hate that this camera uses it. Don't get me wrong, I love everything else about it, but I hate that it uses micro USB. Anyway, yeah, I can't live stream. Go like that. There we go, and we'll just give everybody a minute or so on that to join it. Oh, for fuck's sake. What's wrong with the internet now? Bitrate is lower than the recommended. Was it? Yeah. I mean, I've deliberately, set this at a lower one so it should stream all right. Let's see if it is streaming all right. Let me just go onto my channel and see if it's streaming. Yeah, it's going fine for me. So yeah, I don't know why I've got a warning saying the bitrate will be low. Oh well, there we go. So yeah, I'm gonna give people again just a minute, and that I'm not gonna go on as long as I somewhat ought to do. I'm gonna probably go until 8 o'clock. So yeah, it's about an hour. But yeah, I should probably talk about some of the stuff I'm gonna cover in this live stream, and I will do in a second. I think it's mostly just going to be a lot of Q&A stuff and that as well in this. A lot of Q&A stuff because the stuff I was going to say I can't remember what that was. So yeah, that was fun. But next week, so next Saturday, should come out my review of the Pyramids of Mars priority set. I've filmed the actual review today, which came up to just shy of 28 minutes. But I thought, since it's an older set and stuff like that, and to basically make it a bit more interesting, I might film a little skit at the beginning based on an actual event that happened to me when I received the set. So yeah, that's something I might do. But yeah, we'll see how it goes. And I've had a lot of stuff screenshotted for future Doctor rip-offs that I haven't yet done, haven't yet recorded. That camera's a little bit far away, isn't it? A little bit far away. There we go. Move it a little bit closer. There we go. So, yeah. I keep looking this way because I've got my setup here, but the camera's actually there. I can't actually have the camera here because it's on an arm. And it won't stretch all the way there. No. But, yeah. In terms of the rumored stuff and that's coming out, so supposed to be coming out, and among other things, do you like Michael Wisher's Dalek voice? Said Jamie King. Well, actually, speaking of it, I did actually watch Death to the Daleks the other day, and yeah, it's the thing is it's all right when I think he's at his lower one, his lower pitch one, like his medium and his lower one, but when he's at his higher one, I guess find it goes a little bit off and sounds a little bit too just off and distorted. I think he's really good in Planet of the Daleks. He's really good in Planet of the Daleks, but in Death, without Roy Skelton there, especially to, counteract it, it's just, no, it's not the same. Kind of like Royce, is it Royce Mills or something, who did it with Roy Skelton in Revelation and Remembrance. Royce is alright, but just like he's one of those voices that complements the main voice more and gives it a bit more variety more than the other one. And yeah, now Michael Wisher as Davros, absolutely fantastic. And also, Michael Wisher does voice one Dalek very briefly in Genesis in part 2, so. But yeah, doing like Michael Wisher Scarlet voice. I do, like out of all of them, he wouldn't be my first choice. He wouldn't be my last choice either. Far from it. Oliver something or other, and I can't remember the other person's name at all. The two people who did it in Day of the Daleks. Like, yeah, if you want an example of a bad Dalek voices, there you go, because they're not really doing Dalek voices. They're just doing, more generic robot voices. In fact, it's just like they're basically, Nick Briggs, I think, hit it on the nail where the actors seem to just believe if they just talked into the ring modulator, then that would be it. They'd just be Daleks. They'd sound like Daleks, where it's like, no. The setting isn't right for it to begin with, but yeah, there's no little inflections on the voice, and there's no, for example, Daleks tend to emphasize all of their vowels. I should have flipped that screen that way so I can see. I've got the screen facing the other way. There we go. Now I can see myself without having to look at that screen. I know that helps. That helps quite a lot. Why I didn't do that just before. Anyway. But yeah, they don't emphasise any vowels, which I think that's part of the reason. It's a long list of reasons into why. But yeah. Now, something I was thinking about. Now, I keep thinking about, obviously the upcoming B&M Dalek sets. And basically, one of two things are going to happen with the new wave of figures. Either more money is going to be put into, making some new bits or accessories and that for the Daleks, new sculpts, or the budget for the sets has gone down. It's one of those two. Either the budget for the sets has gone down, which I doubt it. I doubt it. The fact that they're ordering double the amount of Daleks says to me that basically the budget for the sets hasn't gone down. More of just so B&M's looked and just like, you know, they're going for where the money is. Just like, oh, TARDIS sets fly off the shelves. Dalek sets, lucky if it stays on the shelves at all. So, you know, they're just going where the money is. They're just going where the money is. So, it'll be interesting to see. Obviously, the main thing is to say, will we get a new sculpt for the 80s props? I highly doubt it. Very, very highly doubt it. Now, if he did do it, to be fair, he could use it for the Necros Daleks, the Imperial Daleks, and he could also use it for the Renegades and the Renegade Supreme. So, you gotta wait up. You gotta wait up a little bit with that. But the thing is, also, Daleks are the most expensive figures that they do. So, it's just kind of weighing it up in both hands, just like what they do for it. Some things I hope they do. I hope they do a new Ice Skulk, actually. Because, basically, the Ice Skulk that they originally did for the Remembrance set, the 4-pack, they were accurate, actually. They were accurate, though they were slightly too small. And not the actual discs or the length of the eyes, it was the ball at the end. Essentially, it was slightly too small. And then to compensate for that, when it was redone, it was then the end of the eye, the ball at the end of the eye was too big. So it would be nice if we got it in that sweet spot right in the middle, where, you know. But yeah, and then other thing, if it's an Imperial, get the colour of the eye right. I mean, for God's sake, like either do it silver, that shiny silver that Aldebar seems to love so much. You know, or even if it was white, you know, but yeah, how for so long, for 2 releases, the pupil and the iris were both painted blue, the new series blue. Why that was the case, no idea. And then doing it black later on. Like, I'll admit the black was better. It was better. I was mainly because I think more that the pupil was gold more than anything else, and you know, it makes it a little bit less of an eyesore, because it just looks frankly a bit odd like that. But yeah. Oh, and that, and also the Imperial Dalek plungers. Now, the funnel, the second design, the funnel design that was also used on the previous B&M one, is accurate, but it just feels a bit too thin. And it also, I don't know, it seems like it's slightly too short as well. But, you know, there's that worry about it. You either get a one that's very brittle and fragile, or one that is incredibly bendy. But, you know, we'll see what happens with those. Get rid of that mesh on those Imperials. I mean, it shouldn't have been tweaked for that Toys R Us Renegade anyway, but yeah, and doing you shoulder section for the Renegade, like there's stuff there that the money, you know, if these sets do have the same budget, just less variety of them, then, you know, put the budget into those. I mean, you know, in terms of like the Deadly Assassin set, will we get the 4th Doctor from the Deadly Assassin where, well, technically there's 2 variants, well, 3 variants you could do. You could do the variant where the scarf isn't round the neck, because that sculpt does exist. It wouldn't be a that interesting variant, but it would be nice enough. Or there is the variant where he's, for most of the story, where he's just in a shirt and trousers with his boots, which here's a possibility. And then there is the one where he's dressed is he dressed as a cardinal? I can't remember. But with the big Time Lord collar and that, which, you know, that could be a thing. That could be a thing, and that would be a pretty simple figure because it would just be a head swap of the existing Time Lord figure. And maybe a Time Lord figure will be included anyway. Yeah. But yeah, that's the one where I'm just like, there's a lot of possibilities. It depends how much money or effort is going to be put into that one. Depends. But yeah, the NSD set, we know what the NSD set, unless anything, you know, changes, which at this point only, I mean, it probably is too late by this, but by this point, like, only paint apps essentially could change by this point. Because basically from the leaks, I say leaks, basically from the photos that were received by, I've forgotten his name, Anthony Fergan, there we go. He said that it was Dalek Sec in the photos, though again those were very early prototype pictures, so again that's subject to change. But yeah, if they do go in order, then maybe that would be the case, and the other one will probably be, it's either going to be a standard Bronze Dalek, or it may be the Mike Tucker one from Dalek, which technically has had a release in the newer sculpt before with the sound effects variant. However, for whatever reason, they didn't do the gold band for whatever reason with that one. Don't know why. And also for some reason there, the base on that one didn't have the rivets on it, which again is a little bit odd. And it was just a solid black base as well. But yeah, I'd be interested to see. Yeah, I don't know. Personally, I would really love to see some Emperor's Guards variants and the Assault Dalek in the newer sculpt. I would love to see those. I would love to see those released, and you know, even the sensor arm Dalek, which again, that exists on the computer. They only have to scale it. I mean, that has existed since 2006. Because it was, I think it was back in 2006, I believe, that we got the Woolworths exclusive. It might be in 2007. It was either late 2006 or early 2007 that we got the Woolworths exclusive radio controlled one. So, yeah, that has existed in their system since then. So, we'll see with that one. And, yeah, I think the most interesting thing this time around is that we've got no Davros set. I was sure that a Destiny 2 set would come, but I don't know, maybe he's trying to maybe he's spacing them out a bit more. I don't know. Maybe that's the case. I have no idea, because the way Alduar seems to work, it's not logic, and it's not even illogic. It's basically whatever people think he's gonna do, he'll then deliberately do the opposite just to go, ha, caught you, just like, you thought I was gonna do this when I did that. And prime example is the Castrovalva TARDIS, which ended up being the Visitation TARDIS set. Or have I got those the wrong way around? Basically, they were nothing about the set itself changed. The only thing that changed was the backdrop in the packaging and the name of the set itself. Nothing else actually changed about that set. So, yeah, we'll see with that one. And obviously, first time we're getting a Sixth Doctor at B&M. So, just like, oh, you can do it. Yeah. And it's even, it's not his TV Technicolor Dreamcoat, but it is still a Technicolor Dreamcoat. So, yeah, Ultimate Adventure one. Although, so, yeah, we'll see what that is, and also what the TARDIS looks like as well. I'll be interested to see, you know, what is going to be done with that one, if some of the money is going towards that. And fingers crossed it's electronic. I mean, it should be. It should be. But at the minute, we don't know. We don't know. In fact, I think B&M or Character themselves didn't know whether the first Doctor one from last year would be electronic, because when it was first announced, it was electronic. Then later on, we got word that it was going to be non-electronic due to the budget, and then it was electronic, and then it wasn't. They just like, yes, no, yes, no. Just it was basically a load of uncertainty on, you know, what was going to be. Was it going to be electronic? Wasn't it going to be? Thankfully, it was. And then also, we know we're getting another online exclusive before the B&M sets come out, and yeah. Now, will it be some 60th anniversary stuff? Related stuff? Probably. I would not be surprised if it is. I wouldn't be surprised, you know, if it's a Neil Patrick Harris Celestial Toymaker figure. I wouldn't be surprised. I wouldn't be surprised if it's a Shooty Gatwa figure. Well, a little bit more. I would have thought that would have been saved for a little bit later. Or whether it's another variant of the 14th Doctor, though I doubt it. We know there's going to be a coatless variant at some point down the line. And the reason is obviously because the sculpt exists for that. It exists. So, yeah, just like there's no way to bother going into that and not use it. So, at some point in the future, whether it's at B&M or an online exclusive, I imagine that'll be the B&M one, if that is. In fact, I wouldn't be surprised if that was initially planned for B&M this year, but then all that had to be scrapped because B&M said, "Oh no, we only want one." Because like, oh, you know, we're not interested in the 3-packs anymore. Because like, all right, we'll do one. We'll have one 3-pack, but the rest will want Daleks. Double the amount of Daleks. We'll have double the amount of Daleks, but everything else, you know. So yeah, we'll see how it goes. But that again, it could be something completely off the ball. Hopefully, it's the Emperor Davros re-release, or even the Big Finish version, because that sculpt Alduar announced in a podcast. I can't remember which one it was. That the sculpt had been found. It had been found, so, and all the bits for it, so yeah. But we'll see with that one. Anyway, let's get into some questions. The Pyramid Instinct. Have you ever met any Doctor Who actors? I don't really remember it very well because I was very young, but I very briefly met David Banks. I didn't get to see anything to him. I basically just shook his hand, and unfortunately, I missed Sylvester McCoy when he was at the Doctor Who Blackpool Museum when that existed. But yeah, that's it. That's it, and I don't even really remember the David Banks one very well. Because what he did is, someone, I don't know if he brought it or someone, I'm assuming they gave him it, a Sideman head, and he put that on and was just shaking people's hands with that on. So, yeah, I don't even remember his face from that. I know what his face looks like, but I don't even remember his face from the account because he had the helmet on. So, yeah, Jamie King, speaking of Nick Briggs, to you, still... Wait. Let me read that on my phone. Let me read that on my phone rather than screening my eyes trying to look at that. Speaking of Nick Briggs, to you... I'm assuming that means do you, because to you... do you still think he should continue voicing the Daleks, or should someone else have a go? No, keep Nick Briggs as long as you can. And that is very much Nick Briggs' intention. And one of the reasons why the BBC keeps Nick Briggs on is, 1, he's reliable. 2, he brings his own equipment with him. Because the ring modulators, yeah, they're his. He had 5 of them. I don't know if he still has 5. And the reason is because I know one of them broke back in 2012. I'm assuming he got that fixed. I'm assuming he did. But yeah. And also, he's cheap. Nick Briggs will, you know, he's not going to scarp about fees and that. So, yeah. Plus, his main job is being the executive producer of Big Finish anyway, so. The pyramid infectant. Alduar said on Doctor Who Toy site that the leaked list got some of the names of the sets wrong. Yeah, but then again, also, Alduar has lied about a bunch of things. Also, Alduar changed it, like I said before, like the visitation sets. What is it? I'm trying to look, I don't know here. The visitation TARDIS set, or was it the Cashgravalva TARDIS set? I can't remember which one it's actually called. But yeah, literally, the name of the set changed. Nothing else changed about it, other than the backdrop. So, yeah. But yeah, Alduar does lie, and he does not... I know for a fact he does not like Anthony Fergan. He also doesn't like B&M for announcing this stuff earlier as well. So, yeah. There you go. Now, things are still subject to change. At least in terms of more minor things. Major things, nah, it's too late for that at this point. Generally. If they want to make that, you know, the September, October time release date for the first set lot. So, yeah. And, hello, I'm on 27. Hello. Blimey, have we still... We got signal or what? Yeah, we do. Yeah, we do. Good. Yeah, this stream is actually about minute-ish behind. Have you seen Indiana Jones? I saw the I've seen the first 4 films. When I was, I can't remember how old I was, probably 6 or 7. I haven't seen them since, to be honest. I should probably pick up the 4K Blu-rays at some point. I have no intention of seeing the new film. I have no intent, especially what I've heard about. I mean, I know what happens in it, but yeah, I've got no intention of seeing the new one. But yeah, I can't really remember anything about them, but. Yeah, probably at some point I'll get the 4K Blu-rays and rewatch them. But yeah, haven't seen them. You know, well, bits of it still I remember in my head, but a lot of it is a blank. Because again, I remember we watched them. I remember you rented Cave of Crystal Skull from from Blockbuster, and the others, I think we watched on TV because they were being repeated quite a fair bit around that time. But yeah, other than that, haven't seen them since. But I will do at some point. But yeah, in terms of stuff I've seen recently, I saw, if you looked at my other channel, you would have seen that I saw Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse last Friday, which, if you haven't seen it, go see it. I'm just telling you, just go see it. I'm not going to say any more, but just go and see it. Okay? But also remember that it is a first part of a bigger story. Just so you know. I mean, people are acting like this is a spoiler. When the film was first announced, it was called Across the Spider-Verse Part 1. And even before the film itself came out, they already announced the sequel, which is called Beyond the Spider-Verse. But I remember at the end of my screening, and apparently at the end of a lot of other people's screening, basically what happened is a lot of people stood up in anger and saying, "Oh, this is a rip-off, this film is..." I remember I had a person scout going, "Oh, this is a rip-off, this film is rubbish," because it ended on a cliffhanger. So, yeah, I mean, I knew that going into the film and that, but did not stop my enjoyment of it. It is fantastic. But, yeah, it is, you know, the first half of a bigger story. I mean, so, yeah. We'll see. I mean, also, my opinion may change on it when the next film comes out. Who knows? Because, again, it is just the first half of it. I will say, though, the one thing about it I'd say is that it kind of it kind of has like like every time there's like 3 times where you think it's gonna end and then it goes on for a little bit more. And it's just like, I think you could have cut it just before then and it would have been a more effective cliffhanger than it actually was. Not that it was a bad cliffhanger, but I just think, you know, just like oh, right, okay, so this is where it's going to climb. Oh, no, we're still going. Just like, how we're still going? You know, I swear we've reached that 2-hour time. Just like, okay. Anyway, that is all I'm going to say on that. That's all I'm going to say on that for now. Who's your favourite Spider-Man actor? Man, live action, it's got to be Tobey Maguire. And also because, you know, that is that fit those Sam Raimi films are the ones I grew up with and that as well. So yeah, and they still hold up. And I can still enjoy them. And it's interesting that there's nothing really quite like them. Because they're not like, you know, Marvel films that you get a day, which is a good thing. But yeah, then this we sort of in a zone, just like they're all on their own. But yeah, really enjoy them. And yeah, next week, well, just after next week, I think on Tuesday next week, I'm gonna go see The Flash, and the one and only reason is because Michael Keaton as Batman. Oh, because I'm certainly not going to go see it because of The Flash. And I'm not going to mention his name or their damn name. Yeah, I'm not going to say. Well, not because we're not going to talk about it. But we all know who I'm talking about. Anyway, are you seeing Transformers? No, got no real interest in Transformers. I saw the first 3 Michael Bay films. I only enjoyed the first one. I can't even really remember it. I was bored during the second and third film. But yeah. Yeah, so yeah, well, Andrew Garfield, particularly because of No Way Home. Like, Andrew Garfield went right up in my books. Like, when he is he was good, but he was always good. But like, when he's given, you know, good material to work with, he absolutely excels in that. And that film, you know, did him justice. Yeah, I just wish they'd have had more screen time in the film. I mean, it's more than I thought they were going to get, but yeah, there we go. Yeah. Oh, that's what I was going to talk about. So yeah, if you live in Australia, or if you've been buying the Doctor Who Australian box set releases, if you missed out on the UK ones when you were getting them, tough luck now, because I can't remember the guy's name. But basically, it's been confirmed that Universal, who is the distributor in Australia for the Doctor Who DVDs and Blu-rays, yeah, they are stopping production of any Doctor Who media, and possibly physical media in general. Oh, I doubt that. But yeah, basically there will be no season 9. They will not be receiving season 9 or any subsequent seasons. So yeah, although saying that, a lot of Australian viewers and US ones were getting the UK ones anyway, because they were still, like, for the collectors, they were still the superior version to get. So yeah. And at least, you know, they're all region free, so it doesn't matter where in the world that you live, you can play them perfectly fine. But, you know, always recommend getting the UK ones. Because, as well, even if you're in the US, because even though there's no difference in terms of what you get on the discs, apart from the season 12 that has one special feature that is not on the US one due to copyright. But the special features, the older special features on the US releases, are still NTSC conversions, which basically means that, one, they're running slightly slower, and also they're at a slightly lower resolution. So yeah. But yeah, plus also some of them are calculated the imports, and generally a lot of the time the people in the US and even Australia, to a less extent Australia, are cheaper, or it's about the same price to import from the UK. So it's like, well, why not? But yeah, now speaking of the box sets, we've had no word on what's officially coming next. We know we know an idea of what ones are in the pipeline, of because they've been working on several. And the only reason we've gotten so many within a short space of time is because there were so many delays on the season 2 and the season 9s, and that they came out relatively quick of each other. But yeah, we haven't had any news of that in a while. And something else we haven't had any news on is the 2 animations that were supposed to be coming out this year. We've heard basically nothing since their initial announcements. Yeah, absolutely nothing since. So yeah, I mean, are they working on them? Aren't they working on them? I honestly don't know. Are they struggling to find the book? I mean, assuming they've been funded by someone, whether that is Disney and Disney Plus, or whether it's someone else, but you know, they've clearly got some funding from somewhere in order to fund them. But yeah, we've heard absolutely nothing else since then of them, and until we hear something soon, then yeah, will they even come out this year at this rate? Because usually, you know, you want to get, you know, them out before or at the same time as the 60th to, you know, maximise the profit on them. But yeah, we'll see what happens with them. I don't think there's any other questions over there. Yeah, it's just a bit interesting with those. In terms of the next sex to come out, Blu-ray sex, who knows? Who knows? I would like some more reinforced packaging. That'd be nice. Sam Raimi Spider-Man films are good, no? Sam Raimi Spider-Man films are the only good Spider-Man films. I do not agree with that, Mr. Valeska. For one, as I said, Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse and Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse, like, those are better. Those are, as much as I love them, those are better films. And the Tom Holland ones, you know, I mean, Homecoming and Far From Home, you know, aren't bad. They're mediocre, but they're not bad. I'm going to get a drink of water. problem is at the minute with the amount of pollen that's in the air. If I talk for an extended period of time, my throat starts to get very, very dry. Right. Have you seen Once Upon a Time in Hollywood? No, I have not. Although I think I got that for my dad for his birthday or something, or Christmas or something. But no, I haven't seen it and don't really have an interest to. Tom Holland ones are pretty terrible. Sam Raimi has the best character writing. I wouldn't agree 100% with that. Particularly, Spider-Man 3 is an example, and I know he was forced a lot by the studios, but even then, you know. I mean, in terms of character writing, the two Spider-Verse films easily got the best character writing, particularly across the Spider-Verse. Definitely has the best characterization. Definitely has the best character writing in that one. Definitely. Yeah, I mean, at the moment, you know, that one is up there at the minute. But yeah, we'll have to see, you know, when I get it. And what's interesting is that in terms of its physical releases, that one is getting a Blu-ray Steelbook. Yeah, which is a bit odd. I've noticed there's a bit of a resurgence for Blu-ray Steelbooks. I mean, it's getting a 4K Steelbook as well, but yeah, it's interesting that they're doing both. Normally, it's just the 4K. I mean, Avatar: The Way of Water is getting a Blu-ray Steelbook, but that's a 3D plus Blu-ray, so I understand why. Excuse me. And in the US, only in the US, the Mario movie has a Blu-ray only version of the Superstar the Superstar tin, whereas in the UK it's 4K only. Although you do get the Blu-ray included. Like that's the thing. I know some people are saying, "Oh, finally I can get a Steelbook. I can just get a regular Blu-ray Steelbook." Just like every single 4K Blu-ray Steelbook that I have ever gotten, and 99% of 4K Blu-rays come with the regular Blu-ray, so it's just like, actually I'd say about 90% of them. But it's just like, you know, I mean, I was getting 4K Blu-ray Steelbooks before I had a 4K Blu-ray player or even a 4K TV, just because that was the Steelbook. I think my first one was It Chapter 2. And yeah, I didn't go, oh, it's a 4K. Just like, oh well, just like, there you go. You know, it's an extra disc. Which I did eventually upgrade to the format. Not very long after. I think it was only a year later, or something like that. I upgraded to that format. Yeah, it must have been a year later. But yeah, and that's also a tip for a lot of people out there. People, you know, who are kind of on the fence about it or thinking about it, start getting 4K Blu-rays now. Start getting them now, or get them when they're on sale, and get the Steelbooks and that. And then when you finally do decide to, you know, finally upgrade everything, you've already started off a collection already. There you go. That's what I did. And I did the same thing with Blu-ray as well, because this is still the case in America, but in the UK, when Blu-ray was in its earlier days, I think all the way up until 2014, 2015, most Blu-rays came with the DVD included as well. Which is still the case in America. Yeah, it's interesting. But, yeah. Then there was I'm going to just quickly talk about this example and then move on to something else. The film Super 8, which is a fantastic film, Should go watch. But in the UK, the 4K Blu-ray came with the Blu-ray. It came with it was a 4K plus Blu-ray release. However, in the US and I think Australia, I could be wrong about that one, it was just the 4K disc. It had all the special features on the 4K disc anyway, so they weren't losing out there. But it was just the 4K disc. However, they also got a digital code, which we didn't get. Although, to be honest, I never bother with them anyway when we do get them. We don't get them very much now. But yeah, I'd much rather have a Blu-ray disc included than a digital code. I mean, I'd never use the... Whenever... In my videos, if you ever see me unbox a Blu-ray and that, and it's got a digital code, I just show it to the camera because I'd never use it. Because I just rip my Blu-rays. And I can have them anywhere with me. Spider-Man 3 is pretty much better than every single MCU film apart from the Guardians films. I wouldn't agree with that, no. It's better than a lot of them, I'll agree with that, but yeah. And it's better than anything that Marvel shoves out its arse now. Far From Home was trash, Homecoming was good. Yeah, Far From Home had its moments. It did have its moments, and you know, it's one of those things where you just put it on for a couple of hours and just watch it and then just kind of forget afterwards. Homecoming was trash as well, not really a boring film for me. I don't know what NWH means. What's your favourite Aardman animation film? Well, actually, are we talking about films or including the shorts? Because if you included the shorts, it's going to be the wrong trousers. However, if you were just talking about feature films, like, it's going to be between Chicken Run and the Pirates in an Adventure with Scientists, I'd say. And then after that, it would be the first Shaun the Sheep film. Or possibly Curse of the Were after that. But yeah. Most of the Dog Zero. Thomas the Tank Engine will be a villain if Chibnall somehow returns. I mean, that would be more interesting than anything he's done. Or the Cat in the Hat. Will you watch the FNAF movie? You can't see him, but the answer is absolutely. Absolutely. I've been waiting for that movie for years, but for those who don't know, I am a big fan of the Five Nights at Freddy's franchise, and in fact, I have every single one of the Funko 5-inch figures, every single release of it. So yeah, I will go see it, especially with Matthew Lillard playing Afton, because Matthew Lillard. It's weird how Matthew Lillard's jumped back into horror. Just like, we're going from Scream. Now you're Shaggy, which, yes, Matthew Lillard must be Shaggy for life. No one else. Until he then passes it on, like Casey Kasem did. But that is what Matthew Lillard was born to do. He was born to be Shaggy. Jimmy King says, do you think that the Bronze Daleks need a redesign? No. I don't know why people keep saying, oh, change the Dalek. Why? Why? Like, just because people say, oh, I'm sick of them, they're boring. Like, they're still... like, Dalek design throughout the 60s, 70s, and 80s did not change dramatically. It never changed. It was minor. Like, the biggest change in Dalek design was in the mid-1980s, when they finally, you know, made brand new Daleks that weren't, you know, just either goon copies that were made or anything else. Like, yeah, in terms of the shape of the, like, change the colour. Just change the colour. But, yeah, we've seen it twice now. Twice. Like, do people not remember the paradigms? And do people not remember the Chibnall Dalek twice over? Like, when you mess too much with that design, you fuck it up. The Daleks are not the Cybermen where you can, you know, constantly change and update the design. Like, the Daleks, their design, you know, is iconic, and it's something that generally, you know, will, like, for example, the TARDIS exterior. The police, you know, it's always a police box. There's different variations to that, but it's always a police box, you know. The interior changes quite a bit, but still, things like that. So yeah, because the thing is, like, they've tried to change the design twice, and they've fucked it up twice. So yeah, just like if it's not broke, don't fix it. Who do you think is the best killer in the Scream films? Matthew Lillard. Yeah. To be honest, I can't even remember the guy's name. I can't even remember his name because it's just always just like, it's Matthew Lillard or Shaggy. It's like, that's the only thing with Matthew Lillard. It's like, you either call him Matthew Lillard or you call him Shaggy. It's one of those two. Yeah. There's also the thing about going around that, missing episodes may be found as well, which was something I wanted to mention. So, now, in terms of that, there are, unofficially, obviously, but there are 5 missing episodes known to exist in private collectors' hands. And we don't know what those 5 are specifically, but we got a good idea of rumours floating around on them. One of them we do know, which is episode 3 of Web of Fear. That exists somewhere in someone's collector's hands or somewhere. We don't know that one. We don't know where. And then I believe one or both other missing episodes of Galaxy 4 exist. Another episode from the Crusade exists, supposedly. And I can't really remember with the others. I think Underwater Mess as well is an episode that exists. Another one. But yeah, we don't really know for certain with those. But yeah, I don't know if that is still the case now, but basically the heavily rumoured thing is that 5 existed. Like, existing private collector's hands. And obviously, if any of them are going to surface, then it's probably going to be this year. And, you know, supposedly some more possibly being found. We don't know. We honestly don't know. But if they are missing out, it's never, like, I mean, prove me wrong, but it's never going to be the ones that we're pining over. Generally, for the most part. Again, sometimes we're proved wrong. Like, I remember Web of Fear, everyone was pining over that, and for that to be found, wow. Because that was actually one of the ones that people were really wanting. And ironically, no one wanted Enemy of the World, but Enemy of the World is great. It is great, and that is simply because we were missing the visuals to it. Because when that was all about the action and the directing from Barry Lex. But yeah. Whether any of those will come to light, because also one of the reasons why private collectors not keep them as is and don't let them out is because obviously some of them like the fact that they've got something that no one else can see, but also some of them like Ian Levine. The reason Ian Levine, for example, he had episode 6 of Enemy of the World. He had it for quite a while, but he didn't let anyone know. And the reason is because within these circles of people who have these missing episodes, they generally trade with each other, going, I've got this missing episode, you've got this missing episode, let's trade up or share them within that circle. And he was keeping that, hushed up so he could, for the potential of trading it with other stuff. That's why. Which is why later on as well, for the special edition of Enemy of the World, he then submitted his episode 6, which was in better quality. Not massively, but was slightly in better condition and better quality than the one that was previously found. Yeah. But apparently Ian Levine was very annoyed about that as well, because he was wanting to trade it for something, or share it with someone else for something. But obviously then it got announced that, it's found, and then suddenly obviously its value plummeted. Thing is, though, they're only valuable in these collector circles like that, or to the BBC themselves. The thing is, the BBC, in all of its wisdom, refuses to give you anything if you find these episodes. They will not give you shit. I remember once it was on Blue Peter years ago, I think it was 2006 or something like that, where they said, we will give you a Dalek if you find a missing episode. I don't know if that's still the case. But I don't think they give you anything now. Because in the BBC's mind, it's just like, these are our programmes that we have made. We shouldn't have to pay to get them back. Which is obviously, a massive thing, thing for people to just go, the BBC's going to give me note for this. If I sell it, in the collector's field, in the collector market to private collectors, I can get thousands upon thousands. Just say, yes, please, let's do that. The thing is, I've said this before, the thing that I would do, I would piss everyone off, because if I found a missing episode, what I would do is, basically, I would have it scanned that myself. I'd do that myself. And I would put it on my YouTube. That's what I would do. Which would, one, piss the BBC off to no ends. Because, even if they took it down, just like, there's that window of time where people would have been able to see it for free. And I'd put it on my SoulSeek as well, so people would be able to download it. But then also, it would piss off the collectors to no ends, because I destroyed the value of it as well by having it out there for free. So I piss everyone off all at once. Yeah. That's what I would do if I find a missing episode. And I legitimately would. Even though with the amount of money I could have made to do that, I would. Absolutely no questions asked. I would. Seriously. I need to include. What do you think about the Hobbit films? Never seen them. And I've never seen Lord of the Rings either. What's your most valuable Blu-ray? Well, it's going to be a one that's out of print. I don't know. I don't know what my most valuable Blu-ray is. I couldn't tell you. I do have a few that are out of print and that, but yeah. I can tell you what my most valuable DVD is, probably. All over those but probably I'd say my most valuable DVD is, there's two I've got that are pretty valuable because they're long since out of print, and that is of the German animated film Feliday, which is on YouTube for free, but you know, the DVD is pretty rare. And then there's another film which I think you might have seen Save a Spark review, called Renard the Fox, which that one, when I got it, wasn't too expensive, but that is seemingly, ever since his video was shot up in price. So yeah, in terms of Blu-rays, as I say, don't know, can't really think of any off the top of my head that are that particularly valuable. Ironically, I do have quite a few CDs that are valuable, and that's of live concerts, and I've got one that is very unique, which is on my Soulseek. Do you think lost classic episodes will ever be found again? Obviously with each year or each day, it becomes less and less likely. Out of the ones, I'd say Web of Fear episode 3 is the most likely, in terms of any surfacing. So I'd say not impossible, but very unlikely. You skipped 6 questions, yeah. It's because they're all popping up, and when they pop up, the other ones go behind. So I can't see where I'm at. I saw that you're remaking a best villains video. You need idea of some underrated villains. Again, I'm too tired to think. Especially of underrated ones. Yeah. I don't know. Anti-Pops from regular show. There we go. That's just something I just randomly thought in my head. What villain do you think Benedict Cumberbatch could voice in Doctor Who? Not play, just voice. Just voice. The Black Guardian. There we go. What is the worst sounding Doctor Who theme music? Well, in terms of just the music, I would say the Australian theme that was used for what was it used for? Carnival of Monsters by accident. The one that Barry Lex commissioned and decided not to use, and rightfully so, because it's not bad, but it's just like if that was just like a remix version that was, you know, like an option or a special feature or on a soundtrack and that, fine, but as the main theme, just like, no. The music in Destiny Dogs is not good. It just does not suit what's on screen, and makes it unintentionally hilarious. Now, obviously, the version done for Dalek 60 does fix that and actually does make it feel intensive, but by completely changing the instruments and that. If Matthew Lillard and Willem Dafoe were casting Doctor Who, what do you think they should? Who do you think they should play? I honestly, I don't know. I don't know who they would play really. I think, to be honest, rather than Existca, I think really they should be their own. Particularly Willem Dafoe should be, its own character within that, because just because I can't see him really fitting into anything that already exists. But yeah, I think I'll stop there because I think my voice is going. Plus, I'm gonna be taking my dog out in a minute anyway. So yeah, what's that? So yeah, hope you enjoyed this live stream, and as I said, next week should be the Pyramids of Mars priority set review, and then week after that, probably do a Doctor Who rip-off. So yeah, but yeah, thank you all for watching, and I'll see you next time. Bye bye.